Hi, and welcome. Advertising executive Alex F. Osborne first coined the word brainstorming in the early 1940s. Since then, millions of these powerful techniques have created and improved ideas, products, services, and solutions to problems. Every institution, from Fortune 500 companies to universities and government agencies, has used the brainstorming principle. They've used it to create everything from ad slogans and medical breakthroughs to ways to get your child to eat more vegetables. Fact: for every product in your home or office, chances are a person or group brainstormed about it. At some point, they brainstormed on how best to create, market, sell, manufacture, advertise, or distribute it. This is how powerful brainstorming is. Brainstorming has produced and helped improve countless products and services for scores of people, agencies, and businesses. Now it's your turn. Corporate executives, creative thinkers, inventors, and leaders use it for one reason: it works. If you work it, brainstorming can benefit anyone. You don't have to be a CEO or Army general. You can gain from brainstorming if you're a single mother, janitor, student, unemployed, or homeless. Yes, you can use the principles of brainstorming for the largest project or the smallest task. You can use it to plan $1 million ad campaign or what you'll have for dinner tonight. Use it to plan a trip around the world or the store. Use it to get your child to college or get your child to eat more spinach. There's nothing too large or small that brainstorming can't help. We use it in this course to help you create more potent niche ideas. You'll learn to use it to help give your business, product, service, or yourself more value. In short, I'll provide the 15 principles to create a high-demand product or service niche, and you'll brainstorm ways to apply them to your specific situation. You can apply it to your business, product, service, job, project, or life problem. You didn't just buy a course, but solutions, answers, shortcuts, and action plans. That's what I kept in mind when researching and creating this, to fill it with solutions. These are the solutions that create and improve profitable niche products and services. I urge you to read and review this section on brainstorming often. It's important to follow the steps to the letter. Don't try to reinvent the wheel or take shortcuts here. It's time the average person benefits from the technique of brainstorming. Every society's rich, powerful, and creative thinkers have done it for decades. Most have kept it their little secret. Now it's your turn, so I offer it here. Shame on you if you fail to use this valuable tool. By practicing these steps, you'll amaze yourself with the ideas and solutions your fabulous brain will give you if you follow these steps. First, we'll study the 4 phases of brainstorming. They are 1. The no bad ideas phase, 2. The evaluation phase, 3. The action phase, 4. The results phase. Each phase has its own unique strength and predictable results. So, if you're ready, let's go. The no bad ideas phase of brainstorming. In brainstorming, we have one rule. And that rule says, there are no bad ideas. That statement is so vital, I'll repeat it. And this time, please say it with me, with feelings. Ready, set, go. In brainstorming, there are no bad ideas. Remember, brainstorming is the first step in the idea, solution, and niche creation improvement phase, not the last. We have plenty of time to determine whether an idea is logical, doable, or makes sense later. Never, ever at the beginning. That's a rookie mistake many make. Brainstorming sessions should stay loose, freewheeling, and fun. Let your imagination run wild. The crazier the ideas you can come up with, the better your chances of coming up with good ones later. Caution: if you find yourself taking 1 second to judge an idea, stop. For example, trying to figure out if an idea makes sense, is logical or doable. Then you're no longer brainstorming. You're evaluating. Trying to evaluate an idea too soon is like slamming on the brakes of your creativity. Evaluating at this stage can slow down and even stop the creative process like nothing else will. Judging ideas too soon is the #1 mistake beginners make when brainstorming. Critical thinking too soon is like throwing a bucket of water on a match. Evaluating new ideas too fast at the beginning stages defeats the purpose of brainstorming. It's like pulling up a young plant to see if the roots are growing. The result? you're slowing the process, maybe even killing it. So treat each new idea like a newborn baby. Gently. See how they'll evolve by allowing them to breathe and develop. I'll show you what to do with them later. Your first goal now is to develop as many ideas, good or bad, as possible. Cultivating a creative atmosphere for brainstorming helps attract ideas and solutions like nothing else can. Getting and maintaining the right atmosphere sets the stage for powerful breakthrough ideas. Now, let's discuss the 7 steps for effective brainstorming sessions. You can do a brainstorming session with 1 person or 100 people. These rules stay the same. The participant or participants present a subject for the brainstorming session. Avoid critical thinking. Critical or judgmental thinking slows down or kills the creative process at this stage. This step is often the hardest to control. Having a critic or allowing criticism to seep in at the start steals your time, energy, and focus from creative thinking. Why? Because as hard as you may try, you can only think one thought at a time. When you're creating, you can't judge. When you judge, you can't make. So why not use this to your advantage instead of working against yourself? Keep your brainstorming session light, loose, and free-spirited, because lighthearted humor helps oil the wheels of our creativity. Here's an interesting fact discovered by scientific research. We release a large portion of our creativity through our humor. A sense of playfulness in a brainstorming session helps to quiet our inner critic. The inner critic is that part of us who wants to evaluate new ideas before the right time as a form of protection. However, brainstorming often protects us from getting helpful ideas. I have a powerful idea for you before you start. Watch a good comedy or stand-up comic before a brainstorming session. I like watching Rodney Dangerfield. Who knew? You could also start by reading or telling a few well-chosen jokes to help lighten up the atmosphere for everyone. Even if the jokes come off a bit corny and result in a chorus of oohs, hisses, and us, so what? It still works. Here's why. Because even the cornball joke would still have fulfilled its purpose. And what's that, you ask? To loosen up the atmosphere and increase everyone's creativity. That's our goal. Make sure you have a pencil, paper, or marker board to write down your ideas. Then, designate someone to write down the ideas. Make sure to set a minimum length of time or number of ideas you want to get out of each brainstorming session. Why? Because setting a goal helps everyone to focus. It also helps everyone avoid wandering minds. First, write down the problem, the goal, or the subject on top of the piece of paper or marker board. For example, ways to attract more customers. Next, number each idea you or the group comes up with. Write down every idea, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. Remember the goal, to get as many ideas written down as possible at this stage. We'll evaluate and judge each idea later. Those are the 7 tips for practical brainstorming sessions. Follow them and watch the ideas and solutions flow. Again, avoid criticism, judgment, or editing at this early stage. The leader of the brainstorming session should encourage everyone to offer ideas, even the zany, wild, and loony ones. Remember, the watchword at this stage is no judgment. Don't forget that most of the products and services we depend on each day were initially thought of as wild, zany, and loony. Things like the microwave oven, television, light bulb, and taco, even Tuesday. So don't be too quick to judge. Like anything else, the more you practice brainstorming, the better you'll get. In addition, the better ideas you'll come up with. The brainstorming concept takes advantage of the thinking by association process that everyone is naturally born with. Simply put, one idea leads to another related idea. When this happens and the ideas flow, each idea will inspire more ideas. Musicians call it being in the groove. Comedians call it being on a roll. Athletes call it being in the zone. Whatever you call it, this is where brainstorming is at its best. Always remember, there are no bad ideas. Even the so-called zany ideas will often lead you to breakthrough ideas. Thousands of products and services came from zany, crazy, and loony beginnings. So if others consider your ideas zany, crazy, or loony, you're in legendary company. Why? Because some of our greatest inventions and creative people had them. I call the next phase of our brainstorming session the evaluation phase. Here is where you change to a different mindset. You'll change from the freewheeling, zany, anything-goes mindset to a more critical or logical mindset. In this phase, you'll unchain your critical side. You'll now release it on the ideas you came up with in phase 1. You can now use your knowledge and experience. Here, you'll choose the most doable ideas and eliminate the unrealistic ones on your list. Next, you'll file the ones away that are not workable now but could be in the future. Everyone who had input at the brainstorming session should have a chance to plead their case here if desired. The people who elect to keep or discard the idea should all have a say. This phase can often turn into the most heated. Sometimes the people who come up with ideas hate seeing them scratched off as undoable. Although this evaluation phase is more serious than the first phase, it should remain as light and fun as possible. The evaluation phase is the most natural for all the participants. Everyone's a critic, and it's always easy for critics to see why something can't be done. Right? It's easy for critics to see why something won't work, and it's always easy for critics to remember who failed at doing it in the past. I urge you to be careful and not allow this phase to come down to a critic's corner. Why? It's draining and non-productive, especially when it comes to brainstorming. So focus on solutions, not problems, during this phase. In this evaluation phase, you're looking for the most doable ideas in the following ways. Financially, do we have enough money? Personnel-wise, do we have enough qualified people to do it? Equipment-wise, do we have the right equipment? Customer-wise, do we have enough customer demand? Goal-wise, do they harmonize with our goals? Consider all 5 goals as a minimum when judging the most doable ideas. Next, rank them in priority with the most doable as number 1, the following doable number 2, etc. You should also consider ways to salvage ideas you find unworkable right now, but they could be in the future. For example, can you change an idea to make it workable? Or if you had more money, resources, or expert advice? If so, file it away. You'd be shocked at how often those items appear when you follow these brainstorming tips to the letter. I've seen it happen tons of times, because sooner or later, opportunity always comes to the prepared mind. These tips, ideas, and guidelines prepare you mentally and emotionally to attract niche ideas for products and services. Remember, you can't use some brainstorming ideas now, but they could be profitable. I plan to store those types of ideas for future consideration. Now stop and do a quick review of our results so far. You've picked out your most doable ideas. Check. You've filed away the ideas that may not be doable now, but in the future, check. The rest of the ideas should be thrown in the trash. Wrong. You should look at the zany, wild, and loony ideas you have left over. Can any ideas you have left fit into the future consideration category? What if you toned it down, added something, combined it with something? After applying the above questions, you may find an idea or two that you can move into the future consideration category. A few changes may allow you to move it into the doable category. If not, you may throw them out. Now you can toss the rest of the crazy, zany, and wild ideas you have left at this stage away. But throw them away with a sense of respect and dignity. Why? Because in most cases it took these crazy, zany, and wild ideas to get to the profitable ideas. Now, are you starting to see why I said in phase 1, there are no bad ideas? Remember, all ideas are good when brainstorming, even the wild, zany, and kooky. Because they add to the creative mood, this, in turn, gives birth to the cutting-edge niche ideas from which we all profit. Now, let's take the doable ideas from this phase and add them to the next phase of the brainstorming process. The real fun is about to begin. If you're ready, let's go. Now that you've gone through the no bad ideas and evaluation phases and chosen the most doable idea or ideas, you are ready for the next phase. This phase is what I call the action phase. In the action phase, you put your idea or ideas on the test track, so to speak. But before you do, we must take a few preliminary steps. We can compare the action phase to flying an airplane, and you're the pilot. Before the flight starts, every pilot undergoes a series of safety checks. So before you implement your ideas, You should go through a series of safety checks. If not, you could crash and burn in the marketplace. There are 5 preliminary checks to consider before starting the action phase. They are: do you have the finances? Do you have enough qualified people? Do you have the proper equipment or supplies? Do you have the proper knowledge, skills, or experience? Or can you hire it? Do you have the time to do it properly? Now, let's go over the 5 preliminary checks in more detail. Starting with, do I have the finances? Don't begin until you count the cost. Luke 14:28, LVB. The above statement was written over 2,000 years ago and is as accurate today as it was then. Make sure you have enough money budgeted to test your new idea. If not, wait until you do. After you evaluate the cost to test your idea and find it's over your budget, you shouldn't put this in your top priority category. You should move it to your future consideration category. Then go back to your list and choose the next idea that's more doable, even if it's smaller than you wanted. There's nothing wrong with starting small. If you follow the ideas in this course, you won't be small for long. Do you have enough qualified people? If you think you may not have enough people to help test your idea, can you get more if needed? If you don't have enough people to help carry out your idea, move it back to the future consideration category. Choose another idea that fits the number of people you have now. Do you have enough equipment and supplies? Consider the following questions and get the answers before beginning. What equipment and/or supplies do you need to test the new idea? And do you have enough? Can you rent or borrow it if you don't have enough equipment? Can you get more if you need to? How long will it take? How many sources of supply provide the necessary items in case one source dries up? Another point to remember concerning supplies and equipment is to beware of over-ordering. You should purchase modestly. Remember, you're testing. If the idea doesn't work out, you don't want to be stuck with a storeroom full of widgets. But on the other hand, if the idea proves successful, you don't want to lose those extra sales. You don't want to run out of supplies if sales take off. So try to find a happy medium between the two extremes. Do you have the knowledge, skills, or experience? Do you have the knowledge, skill, or experience to carry out the new idea? This doesn't necessarily mean you personally. It can also mean hiring someone with the knowledge, skill, or experience. Or can you get someone to teach you? Many of your ideas will be so new that there may not be any prior knowledge to draw from. So you may have to draw from your knowledge, experience, and research. Remember, even new ideas like the telephone, airplane, and light bulb had prior facts the creators used. Use any prior facts you have for your new ideas too. So, consider the knowledge, skill, and experience factor. If this doesn't check out, do you have enough time to learn? If not, you should place the idea into the category of future consideration and choose another idea that fits the standard mentioned before. If your idea fits the standard above, you're ready to go to the next and final check. Remember to stay with me. Don't skip any steps. Here's the next step. Do I have the time to do it properly? This is sometimes the easiest and sometimes the most challenging obstacle to overcome. If you're like most people today, you're already juggling 20 different balls. Your plate is already complete when it comes to time. Am I right? So you'll have to decide if the new idea is worth your investment in time to test it properly. Of course, if you're too busy to think of new ideas, you're too busy, and your business or job will eventually hit a wall. Many businesses who thought they were too busy to try new ideas are no longer in business today. It's funny how the people and businesses that make time to try new ideas quietly replace those who didn't have the time. So, beware not to fall into this trap. You should do these 5 preliminary checks before starting the action phase. Doing them at the start will save you time, money, and frustration. You should do the same as a ship captain who performs preliminary checks before starting a voyage. It will save you a boatload of problems. You're the captain of your business, product, or career ship, right? That's why you should also do the preliminary checks mentioned above. They'll help you avoid getting shipwrecked, going off course, or stuck up a creek without a paddle. O.K., that's the end of the boat references, I promise. Now that you've done your checklist and all systems are gone, you can test your idea on the real-world test track. The marketplace is always the final judge and the only way to tell if a niche product or service idea is good, bad, or needs adjusting. Your idea may look good on paper, and the experts may even love it. But until you test it in the marketplace, you'll never know how good or bad it is. The final voters are the people who spend money on it. The unpredictable human factor, emotions, always invades people's buying decisions. So start testing your idea slowly but thoroughly. Give your new idea the proper amount of attention and time to succeed. After you've tested it, you're ready to go to the next step, the results phase. Note: testing your idea can mean trying it with customers, doing surveys, advertising it to customers, testing it in your workplace, etc. Now that you've started testing your idea, it's time to come to the all-important results phase. Applause, applause, applause. This is where we look at the results, good or bad. This is also where we learn the most. For example, did it work? Or why didn't it work? Another question to ask is, can we make adjustments? If so, where? Also, what do your customers think and feel? You should ask these questions verbally or in writing with written or verbal surveys, interviews, suggestion boxes, etc. Remember, your customer stands as your final judge. Like in a courtroom, you'll have a decisive advantage if you know what the customer thinks, wants, and responds to. You have 5 key points to consider when evaluating the results of your niche product or service ideas. Did it surpass your expectations? Did it meet your expectations? Did it pass your minimum expectations? Did it pay for itself? Did it fall below your expectations? Did it fall way below your expectations? Let's discuss the above points in more detail to give us a better understanding. Did it surpass your expectations? Anything that surpasses our expectations always comes as a pleasant surprise. If you're fortunate to discover that after all your planning and efforts, the results have exceeded your expectations, congratulations! Now, you must decide how you want to follow up. For example, do you want to expand your marketing, advertising, or promotions? Can you adapt the new niche idea to other business areas, products, or services? Do you want to keep things the same for now and avoid expanding on your new idea? Beware. If your new niche idea continues working beyond your expectations, it may have already attracted the attention of your competitors. This may force you to expand your idea or risk losing market share. Did it meet your expectations? If the results of your evaluation met your expectations, congratulations! You took the time to create and develop your niche product or service, something very few people have the knowledge, nerve, or guts to do. But you're not finished yet. You have a few decisions, just like in the previous step. But these are the fun steps that come with success. Ask the following questions after evaluating your results. Can I make any adjustments to improve my results even more? Do I want to expand my idea, i.e., marketing or advertising? Can I adapt my idea to other business areas, products, or services? Do I want to avoid expanding or adapting my new niche idea and stay at my initial level for now? If yes, why? Remember, any success you have will attract not only customers, but also competitors. Are you in a highly competitive market? Do you have a new niche product or service idea that is working successfully? Then you can bet your competitors will work overtime to find ways to duplicate your successful niche idea. That's another reason for an ongoing program to create or improve new niche products or service ideas. Now, let's examine the next step in evaluating our results. Did it pass your minimum expectations? Did your niche idea pass your minimum expectations? If it did, that's a positive sign that you're headed in the right direction. It should have at least paid for itself. But there's more work to do. Consider this next point if you're ambitious, which you are or wouldn't be reading now. You'll want to examine any adjustments you need to make to improve your niche idea. Some areas to focus on to improve your results are marketing, customer feedback, and word-of-mouth advertising. Let's look at these key points a little closer. Marketing. How can you market your new niche idea more effectively to your target customers and improve your results? Using a consultant can add significant value if it's within your budget. Plus, it can help you avoid the potholes many people fall into at this stage. Going online or to your library and reading through the marketing section can give you ideas on improving your niche marketing plan. An average product with a good marketing plan will always outsell a great product with a bad marketing plan. If people don't know how your product or service will help them solve their problems, they won't buy. A good marketing plan will help to overcome this obstacle. Customer feedback. Another area to focus on to improve your results comes from seeking more customer feedback. Your customers are the final judge in determining whether your niche idea will succeed or fail. Here's the good news. Your customers can also be your best consultants. They can offer you insights the best Harvard MBAs could ever give you. Simply ask your customers a few questions.